Hello, my name is Martyr, and this is Let's Play Grim Fandango Remastered. And thank you for watching. Grim Fandango Remastered, guys, is a revival of a classic adventure-style game. Quite a beloved one, too, because there's a lot of people who just feel very passionate about Grim Fandango and have been long-time fans of this game, guys. Just to give you an idea, it originally released in October 1998. Damn, that's an old game. But the remastered version was released in January 2015. Just to put that all in perspective for you guys, by the way, the year 1998 is the year that Metal Gear Solid came out, Ocarina of Time, StarCraft, and many other awesome games, guys. It was a great year in gaming. And that's important for a reason which we will touch upon in a bit. Grim Fandango Remastered was developed and published by Double Fine Productions, with the original developer and publisher being LucasArts. That's also very important. You can go ahead and get Grim Fandango Remastered on Steam for $14.99. It's also available on GOG and a lot of other places. And I think that's a really good price compared to the hundreds of dollars you would have to spend on an original copy, guys. So I think it's a really cool thing that they remastered it and put it out for that price. Now, there's a couple things I want to say before we get started here and start looking at options and features, and there's a whole crap ton of them, trust me. I have never played Grim Fandango before up until this point. I basically got my hands on it, I started playing it. I didn't know about the history, about how passionate people were about this game. And I approached it with the eyes of someone who was naive, basically. The second thing is Double Fine's work on this game. They did a lot of work on this game, basically. That was really hard for them to pull off. Apparently they had to get the original files from LucasArts, and it was just like really hard to recreate this entire game and make it all over again. Third thing is I want to explain to you why this is a AAA title, and that all has to do with LucasArts and the year that it came out in. LucasArts, I don't need to tell you who they are. Star Wars. For God's sakes, they had millions and millions and millions of dollars, even in 1998. And the second thing is that the year this came out in, which was 1998, this game was kind of graphically pretty impressive for the time. It was a very impressive looking game. Not many people were doing 3D models efficiently and as awesome as this game did it. So that's why, even though it does now look like a little bit of an older game, then it was a AAA title. So that's why it, in this case, has the moniker of a AAA title, guys. Now, I know I've been talking a whole lot. We're going to go into options and all that good kind of stuff, guys, because there's a lot to speak of here. There's been a lot of things that they redid, a lot of things that they, tweaked and fixed, and from controls to graphics, a whole lot of stuff here. We have a lot of audio sliders right here. We have some different languages we can choose from. Quite a few languages, too, which is really nice. A couple text modes and text speeds and movements mode. We'll talk about that in a second. Graphics manipulation is okay. It's not anything too fantastic, but you do have more graphics manipulation under the special features because they basically kind of redid all the textures in the game in a really nice fashion, I will say that much. But you have some brightness control here, native resolution scaling, advanced lighting on. There's a lot of different control schemes for this game. You can play it with your keyboard and mouse, kind of point and click style, which was actually something they added to the game. Originally, it wasn't a point and click style game. Originally, they had these things called tank controls, where you kind of moved your character around and tried interacting with objects by physically walking up to them. Double Fine basically changed it to where you could just point and click on things and interact with them, and he'll just walk up to them and get it done. But you do have that option there available to you if you want to play it with the original controls, and if you're like a nostalgic fan of the game, you do have that option available to you. You can also play the game with your controller. It worked with my controller. I just find it a little bit easier to play these types of games with my keyboard and mouse, because it definitely is a point and click game. They just didn't have that point and click aspect to it, I guess, in 1998. So aside from the options, we also have special features. And special features are important because they have a lot of things that they can do to your game. You can turn off the original graphics, you can turn them on. Let's just give you an example, by the way, of what that looks like. There's the original, and then there's the remastered. You can see there's a lot of dynamic lighting, a lot of shading that they did to make it look better. Here's another prime example right here. If you look at our main character, which is Manny Calavera right there, you can see the blinds on him, right? Okay, well, I turn that off. Suddenly he's just clear as day and is sticking out. Again, though, even for the original graphics, it still looks really good. But they did a really good job also of just blending things together, smoothing out all of the effects quite efficiently. They also did, they took all the music originally and redid it. They basically got an orchestra together and did the entire soundtrack all over again, which is really freaking awesome. Now, there's a couple things with the aspect ratio that I'm not a huge fan of. As you can see, as we get into the game, there's these little bars on the left and right. And that's because, while it is remastered, the aspect resolution is not necessarily something they could, I guess, they didn't fix up too well. Because if you notice, with the wide, all it does is kind of stretch it. It doesn't actually natively go to 16 by 9. So as you can see, like his skull is that size, but if I were to stretch it out, suddenly has a big fat head and everything. All it does is stretch the image, which I'm not a huge fan of because I don't feel like that's what the game was originally supposed to look like. So I usually just keep it on 4:3 with the borders on. But you have that option available whatever way you want to play it on. I just wish that it did have that 16 by 9 resolution to make it look really, really nice. But again, it's a remastered version. I can't really hold that against them too terribly much. There's also director's commentary that you can listen to on the game, and basically you can hear what they had to go through and do to remaster the game, and also what some, there are things, tidbits that they talked about in the game. You can also view the cutscenes. There's a concept art gallery, dialogue, etc., etc., etc. You can also save your game. You can make a new game. You can change your key bindings, and there is some other help here for your controller. So that kind of sums up the entire options screen, guys. And basically what this game is all about is this guy named Manny Calavera, who basically transports souls in the afterlife. He's kind of like your travel agent after you die. And what I will say is that the storyline, the dialogue is the highlight of this game. That is why everyone is like, they loved this game, because of the dialogue that you can have in this game, guys. It's very well done. It's very quirky. It's very nice. It makes me laugh, I will say that much. And it was just, it was refreshing to kind of see this kind of dialogue. I'll just give you an example here.
Buenos dias.
Manny, why aren't you at the poisoning?
What poisoning?
The Code 3 gazpacho poisoning that everybody's at but you. Why do I send out memos if nobody reads them?
Where was the poisoning again?
Just ask your driver, for crying out loud. He'll know.
I forget. Am I supposed to be somewhere right now?
Manny, do I have to explain your job to you again?
Yes.
Well, the Manuel Calavera that I know picks up people in the land of the living.
Dead people?
Preferably. And he brings them here and tries valiantly to sell them the best travel package they qualify for. If he sells them enough premium packages, our hero will be free to leave the land of the dead. Until then, he and I are stuck here, having the same conversation over and over again for eternity.
So you can see that just there's our humor. The voice acting is phenomenal in this game, and that's why everybody has such great fond memories of this game, because it is really clever. It's cheeky. It's kind of hilarious at times when you basically are playing this game. It has really memorable characters, and that is the highlight of what this game is all about, is the characters, is that story. And LucasArts did, of course, an amazing job of making a really awesome story, really memorable characters. Of course, we have our dialogue options here. We can also hit Z, I think,
So, is there a reason
to listen to the director's commentary. It's a really cool option there available to you. I enjoyed that quite a bit. If you are a really big fan of this game, you want to get into the makings and all that good kind of stuff, that is an option available to you there.
What if we just skip town tonight? You and me, baby.
Well, thanks for the offer, but we'd never make it out of the city alive.
But
In one piece, I mean.
I bet I could get you out if I really tried.
Oh, Manny, look at you. You're a trapped soul and you don't even know it.
Well, enough about me. What's your job
Well,
like?
enough about me. What's your job like?
Like babysitting, except I don't get to watch TV.
Why do some clients qualify for better travel packages?
They led good lives,
¿Qué traes? How do you define a good life?
better than yours and mine.
So what did you do in life to get stuck here?
What I did back in the fat days is none of your business. You know the rules.
Well, I gotta go hit the bricks.
Okay, you show those bricks a lesson.
Just again, that clever dialogue is what really sells the game here, guys. Graphically, musically, they did a fantastic job of restoring the game The music soundtrack is phenomenal. Phenomenal, I should say. As far as control schemes go, like I said, I prefer that click and mouse style. You do have many options available to you. The game does also feature steamy goodness, all sorts of Steam achievements, Steam cards, all that good kind of stuff, guys. Now we've talked about all that good kind of stuff, and we've talked about the remastered score, and we've talked about how amazing the soundtrack is and the story. There is issues in this game. And these are issues that were fundamentally in the game in itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this button down here. You can see there's a little button on my bottom right here. This is your inventory screen, which completely kind of takes you out of the game. And depending on how many items you have in your inventory, you need to shuffle through each item over and over again to come to that item and be able to use it. It is the most just terrible inventory system. It just takes you out of the game, and it's not necessarily the best thing in the world. There's also just a lot of jumps in logic in this game too. And you know, there's a lot of click and point adventure games that kind of more or less don't necessarily tell you what to do, but at the same time, this game really just kind of leaves you to figure things out. So let's go ahead. By the way, when we click on objects, we have three options. Of course, we can take it, interact with it, or look at it. We're going to go ahead and interact with this object. Now you're basically kind of spending your time clicking around the entire environment.
Hey, who's messing with my stuff?
Here's another character that is very memorable.
Oh, sorry, sir. I didn't expect... Sales agents usually don't come over to this part of the garage.
Hey, you a driver?
Me? Ha! No. I don't ride them, just wrench them.
I'm Calavera. Manny Calavera.
My name's Gladys. I don't get many visitors. Hey! I got a message for a Mr. Calavera. Your driver said that Mr. Hurley said that he could have the rest of the day off.
Domino sent my driver home?
Yeah, wasn't that nice?
Looks like I need a new driver.
Oh! I would agree with that. Yes, you do.
You get the basic idea of all the characters are really just memorable, guys. So we're going to go ahead and just start exploring around the area here. Anyways, like I was saying, there's just a lot of jumps in logic when it comes to the puzzle solving of this game. There's just sometimes it just doesn't always make sense of what you have to do next. And I understand it's a click and point game, it's an adventure style game, so obviously they want you to explore and, you know, experiment with things. But then there's just some times where the logic of items and how you manipulate certain items at certain times, you're just, how are you supposed to figure that out aside from having a walkthrough is one of the things that just kind of rattles around my brain when it comes to playing this game. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's definitely a game that, unless you enjoy tediously experimenting for hours and hours on end, it's a game that you're going to want to play with a walkthrough, unfortunately. And it's just one of the things that isn't necessarily even the remastered edition's fault. That's just the way the game was made, basically. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, everything else is really cool. I enjoy the universe. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the backgrounds. I enjoy the remastered, re-rendered art. I think it's all very well done. The story is very interesting. I'm interested to see where the characters are going. Manny is a fantastic main character. He's funny. He's witty. And in general, you kind of feel for him as far as his plight goes and what things are going on. Like, this is one element of things that kind of gets crazy. Like, for instance, this guy right here, I'm just going to spoil it for you. This guy, basically, you need to get balloon animals from him.
Hey, what's going down?
I'm going to go ahead and just skip most of the conversation here.
Practicing.
Practicing what?
Wringing your neck. What does it look like?
Twist me up one of them, huh, fella?
Yeah. Twist this, all right?
Nice. Dirty LucasArts.
Bet you can't do a cat.
Shows what you know, buddy. I can do anything. I can do birds, amphibians, famous poets. Go ahead. Name one.
A dead worm.
Heck, that's easy.
Now, as you can imagine, these are items that I'm collecting from this guy. And at one particular point in time in the puzzle, you need to actually get 2 dead worms, quote unquote, and use it to get past a certain puzzle. And that's just after a lot of experimentation, a lot of figuring things out, that I actually kind of figure that out. And I'm like, okay, what do I do with these 2 dead worms? And eventually I did kind of figure it out. I did have to use a walkthrough eventually, because it's just, there's a lot of, like I said, jumps in logic when it comes to this game. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 dead worms here. We're not really quite yet to the point of using the dead worms, but there's just a lot of, like I said, just a lot of logic jumping when it comes to certain puzzles. Some of them are pretty blatantly obvious. Some of them just can be really, you're like, what the hell? How was I supposed to know that I need to do that? And it's, to be honest, it's because you didn't know you need to do that. It's just, there's a lot of things that just kind of, you need to just kind of randomly guess at sometimes. It can get a little bit frustrating when it comes to that aspect. But in all, the game does have quite a bit of length to it. There's 4 acts for you to play here, which basically takes over 4 years. Lots and lots of commentary, lots and lots of dialogue for you to enjoy, lots of universe to feel out here, and it's very well done, which is another thing I really like about this game. So let's go ahead, we'll just, I think we can probably head towards the first objective, which I think is talking to her, if I don't remember correctly. It's been a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually a little bit past this point, so I don't remember everything I need to do here.
I can't find my driver.
Manny, you know what to do. Stop playing dumb just to flirt with me.
Okay, well, I guess we gotta hit the bricks. Let's... Where is our car, man? Where do we get our car? I forget. I think we need to talk to that guy again. I think he'll be our driver, I'm pretty sure. Let's check this out. But yeah, it's a very enjoyable experience. It's a very enjoyable game. I think a lot of people will enjoy this, and I can see the charm in it. I can see why people enjoyed it so much. Does it hold up to, let's say, today's games, by the way? I feel yes and no. Like, if you look at, like, a lot of click and point adventure games like Violent or Broken Age, does it compare to those games? Visually, yes, kind of, because it has its own style, its own charm. I think the dialogue is if not better than some games that I've played, it's really good, actually. It keeps up even from when it came out to now, and that's really impressive. So let's go ahead.
You want to be my replacement driver?
Me? Oh, no. Sorry. Can't. Rules.
Come on, Gladys. I need you to be my driver.
No, I can't. I'm too big.
Aww. You're not too big, you're just right.
Big? You're just right.
No, they told me again and again. I'm too big to drive.
Screw the rules. Come with me.
No, I don't want to get in trouble again. They said one more strike and I'm out.
You're not too big. The cars are just too small.
Yeah, those dang compact cars. Hey, that gives me an idea. I could alter your car just a bit with just a quick torch job to let out the seams, you know? But I'm not allowed to modify the cars without a work order from upstairs. I could lose my job.
So now, as you can imagine, we need to get a work order from upstairs.
I can't torch anything bigger than a cigarette without one of these signed by the boss himself.
Hey,
which we'll go ahead and do really quick. It's not that difficult.
Back in a snap.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and skip the dialogue there just by clicking through, just so that way I can kind of show you what you need to do and then wrap this video, guys. Again, this was after just playing the game for quite a long time, trying to figure out what to do here. I suggest that if you are new to this game, you don't remember it too well, even if you're an older fan of this game, you're probably going to need a walkthrough. Because there's just a lot of puzzles that are just like, how the hell was I supposed to figure that out? Okay.
Eva, I really need the boss to sign this.
So if I walk up to Ava and I ask her to sign it, obviously...
Mr. Copel,
it's just
I've got
not gonna
Manny
work.
Calavera out here to see you.
Didn't I say no interruptions today?
Sorry, Cal. Maybe tomorrow. Oh yeah, like you're going anywhere.
Alright, so basically the only way we're going to get that is for our boss to agree to it. But for some reason, no matter what we say, no matter what we do, he's just not going to agree to it. So we're going to go outside here. We're gonna head down the street. But there is something on the other side of the street. There's lots of exploring you can do. Lots of clicking on areas for sure. And anybody who enjoys, that exploration aspect of the game is going to definitely get their bang for their buck in this game for sure, especially for the price that you're going to be paying. It's a great price, I think, and it's a really enjoyable game. Could you move any freaking faster? Thank you. Close it up, skeleton man. Why is there a rope of ties, by the way? I have no idea. There just is. It's there. There's nothing I can really do about it. Oh. Oh, boss left his window open. I guess he probably climbed down.
It looks like Don's rigged his computer to automatically answer his intercom.
Ah.
I'll just change his auto response here.
Ah, cripe, Saber, just sign it yourself, will you? I'm busy.
There we go. And now we basically climb back down, head back around. You can imagine what's going to happen. She's going to, of course, sign it for us. Again, though, you really wouldn't have known to do that unless you kind of take the time to explore. There is some certain things that you can just kind of figure out on your own to do. And then there's just times where it just gets ridiculously difficult as far as its puzzles go. So it all really depends on how good you are at these types of games, how good you are at adventure games, how good you are at puzzle games in general. But for the most part, I highly suggest for the maximum enjoyment of this game, because for me, the puzzles aren't necessarily the enjoyment part of this game. If I want a puzzle game, I'll play a puzzle game. What I like about this game is the dialogue, the story, the characters. And for that, you just want to get the walkthrough and get through the tedious part of it and find out what you need to do basically right away.
To sign this work order.
I'll give it a shot. Mr. Copel, Mr.
There's also
Calavera
like these
has
cool
something up
cutscenes
his
that take
sleeve
place,
that
and they're all really neatly done.
Ah, cripe, Saber, just sign it yourself, will you? I'm busy.
You'll have to excuse him, Manny. It's probably a really hard crossword puzzle he's got in there today.
Eva, I'm impressed. I had no idea you had this kind of power.
Well, we all have our secrets.
Oh, Manny, he's such a badass. Manny's such a pimp. And now he's building some sort of monstrosity machine.
Hey, I look good in this, don't I?
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, they say black is slimming.
I'm driving, yeah! I'm driving!
Oh my god. The art style of the game is fantastic. It's just very quirky and weird and unique. And I guess I really like Grim Fandango. It's just that it really needs a guide to be played with, I think, properly. I think the game will be great for fans of the game. I think they will find a lot to enjoy here. They're going to find all those experiences that they enjoy. They're going to find all that story and charm that they all enjoyed. As for new fans, it's kind of, I think, a 50-50, I think. It'll be hit or miss. Because of sometimes how frustrating it can be to find out what to do next. That can probably throw some people off. But I think if you give it a chance, if you play the game with a guide, just look at this one screen we're looking at right here. This is just the quirkiness and weirdness you expect from this type of game, guys. And the entire game is kind of like this from beginning to end, which is amazing. I think it has a lot of charm. It's a really funny game, guys. And you don't really see a lot of games kind of like with this kind of charm and strangeness and humor. And I'm kind of shocked that LucasArts really did that, to be honest with you, for 1998. It's kind of shocking. And it does really do a good job of standing the test of time, guys. So I just want to say big thanks to the developer for a chance to check out this title. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and share, guys. I'll keep bringing you awesome indie games, guys. If you really enjoyed this video, maybe consider hitting up that tip jar. If you're feeling generous of heart, all tips go to improving the channel or future giveaways, guys. Till next time, though, see you in the next video.